Once upon a time, in a bustling town, there lived a merchant who supported his family by selling salt. He had a wife and 2 sons. The older son was introverted, quiet, and very shy when it came to talking to others. In contrast, the younger son was energetic, confident, and sociable. Although the elder son was kind and gentle, his quiet nature often made people misunderstand him as slow or even naive. Some took advantage of his silence, but he never complained. This led many to look down on him. The father, a busy merchant, was often disappointed in his older son. He regularly scolded him for being timid and passive. However, this only made the boy more self-conscious and withdrawn. As he grew older, his lack of confidence began affecting his studies. During exams, fear would overwhelm him to the point that he couldn't even complete his answers, despite having studied. Over time, his fear made him fall behind and lose faith in himself. That marked the beginning of a painful yet hopeful journey, one where someone who seemed destined to fail forever would eventually find the strength to rise above his fears. As he entered adulthood, the elder son began helping with the family business. Though still burdened by fear and insecurity, he tried his best not to let his father down. Unfortunately, his nervousness often led to mistakes, even in the smallest tasks, making his father even more frustrated. One day, while the father was away, a group of strangers came to the shop and lied, saying, "Your father sent us to take all the salt to the city." Too shy to question them or resist, the young man hesitated. Before he could act, they took everything and left. When the father returned and found the shop empty, he was furious. His face turned red as he shouted, "You fool! You let them steal everything. You've caused me a huge loss. Get out. Don't ever show your face again." Rejected and humiliated, the elder son fell into deep despair. He felt ashamed for his mistake and heartbroken by the harsh rejection from the person he loved the most. The townspeople's mockery only made him feel even more worthless. Tears falling down his face, he wandered to the riverside. "All I ever do is cause trouble," he thought. "I'm a failure. There's no point in living anymore." Just as he was about to end his life, fate intervened. At that moment, as he was about to leap into the cold river, a young man happened to pass by and quickly pulled him back to safety. In his anguish, the elder son cried out, "Why did you save me? My life has no meaning. I always fail. I only disappoint people." The young man, a monk's disciple, gently replied, "Life gives us just one chance. As long as you're alive, you still have the chance to change and succeed. But if you give up now, you'll never know what you were truly capable of." Hearing those words, the elder son couldn't hold back his tears. He shared his story, the shyness that made people belittle him, his rejection by his own father, and the deep sense of failure that consumed him. "You don't understand," he sobbed. "I have no education, no confidence, and no one who cares about me. Does someone like me even deserve to live?" The disciple smiled kindly. "That question my teacher can answer for you. If you're willing, come with me." At first, the elder son hesitated, but the longing to rediscover purpose led him to agree. Together, they traveled to a small monastery where a wise sage was meditating beneath a large tree, radiating peace and calm. The elder son knelt down and once again, tears rolled down his cheeks. This time not only from pain, but from the faint hope that had just been rekindled in his heart. Kneeling before the sage, the young man burst into sobs. He choked out his words, "Master, you are my last hope. If you cannot help me, I will end my life." The sage looked at him calmly and replied, "Be at peace, my child. Tell me everything." The young man began to pour out his heart, sharing the whole story of his life, his childhood shyness, the ridicule he faced, his academic failures, and the painful rejection by his father. After listening carefully, the sage nodded and said, "I have a solution for you. But before I share it, you must complete 3 tasks in the next 3 days. If you succeed, your life will change." With nothing left to lose and a flicker of hope in his chest, the young man agreed. On the first day, the sage instructed, "Go out and speak to 10 strangers. Ask them about their lives and write down their stories." The young man was hesitant, but he followed the instruction. Some people ignored him, others were rude, but he didn't give up. By evening, he had spoken to 10 people and even made a few new friends. For the first time in years, he felt a small sense of pride. Returning to the sage, he shared his experience, a faint sense of confidence beginning to stir within him. On the second morning, the sage gave him a harder challenge. Today, you must teach 10 young children about the importance of water. The young man was startled. How can I do that? I'm uneducated. I don't know how to teach anyone. The sage smiled gently. Those children don't know your background. Just share what you already know. His hands trembling, the young man stood before the group. He stammered through the first few lines, his nerves building. But then he slowly shared 5 uses of water: drinking, cooking, bathing, watering plants, and sustaining life. Though his speech was short and simple, the children listened with interest. When it ended, he hurried away, heart pounding. Back at the monastery, he confessed, I was scared, but I did it. The sage nodded with approval. Very good. You're braver than you think. Now try it again. On the second attempt, the young man stood with more confidence. This time he spoke louder, clearer, and looked the children in the eyes. And something miraculous happened. His fear began to fade. The sage smiled with pride. You see, true strength lies within you. On the third day, the sage presented the final and most difficult task. Today, you must go home and ask your father for forgiveness. The young man's face turned pale. He shook his head in fear. No, he'll never forgive me. I can't face him. The sage spoke firmly. If you refuse, I cannot give you the final answer. You must face the deepest fear in your heart. After a long silence, the young man nodded. Summoning every ounce of courage, he returned to his old home and nervously knocked on the door. When his father answered, he bowed deeply and said, Father, I'm sorry for disappointing you. I know I made mistakes, but I'm trying to change. Please give me one more chance to prove myself. The father looked into his son's eyes and saw something new, a quiet strength, a spark of determination. Slowly he replied, You're not the same boy you once were. Come back. I will give you another chance. Overwhelmed with emotion, the young man rushed back to the sage, eyes bright with joy. Master, please, now tell me the secret to success. The sage smiled warmly. You've already discovered it. Your greatest enemy was not shyness, it was fear. When you changed how you saw yourself, the world changed too. Others will believe in you only if you believe in yourself. Tears of gratitude filled the young man's eyes. He bowed and silently vowed, I will never let fear control my life again. From that day on, he lived differently. He became decisive, proactive, and no longer feared speaking in public. Through persistence and courage, he eventually became a respected and successful businessman, admired for his wisdom and calm presence. His story became living proof of a powerful truth. Confidence is not something we're born with. It is something we build by facing our fears, one step at a time. If you dare to step beyond your comfort zone, believe in yourself, and keep moving forward, you'll discover a strength far greater than you ever imagined.